Bienvenidos, Fright fans, and welcome to the horror show. I'm Matthew Higgins.
I'm Crispin.
I'm Mahalo.
And I'm Jaime and Fuego. We are here for part 2 of our favorite shock rocker, horror goth, whatever the hell, guys who do spooky music or girls.
Badass motherfuckers, that's who.
Yo,
You called it. Sorry about last time. We had some technical difficulties. But we're here hopefully to try and make it up to you. So
yeah,
we're going to do our best.
because that was our 2, and this is our 1. So, no, number 2!
Yeah, all
Anyway,
right.
This is number 1, and I'm going to throw it back to Samooch, Mr. Higgins, for your number 1 shock rocker or whatever pick.
And I gotta go with a band that was like quintessential to a lot of, I'm sure, metalheads. Like, got us started, really pushed us, showed us who we were.
Real quick, I think outside of the Grateful Dead, they probably have more tattoos on people's bodies of this band.
That's true.
True.
Slipknot. Fucking Slipknot. One of my favorites. And they just came out. They designed the band around screwing with people. They wanted to be scary. They wanted to be hectic and mayhem and have just awesome personas, and they put on an amazing show.
And
How couldn't it be?
I remember
Exactly.
Yeah,
All
all of them.
people
There's
in
so
the
many of
band.
them.
These guys used to beat the fuck out of each other.
just
on
literal
stage.
fights on
Amped
stage.
up.
On stage.
Yep.
I
Look how
mean,
crazy these
you
guys
guys
are.
down?
Well,
Come on, it's okay. Nah.
Rock 'em,
Leave
sock
the
'em,
Slipknot.
fragile.
Leave the
Rock 'em,
Slipknot.
sock 'em.
after sponsorships, we might
What
be
makes,
more willing.
what makes Slipknot so special is the amount of talent that band has within it. You have people like
Some
Corey
members
Taylor,
more than others.
Yeah, of course. Joey Jordison,
Yeah.
the feet on that little guy. Are you kidding me? He's
So
so
not just
fast.
that,
He
but
could run.
he's one of the captains for all the
Roadrunner Records.
Yeah.
all
Sadly
Roadrunner
not
United.
with
And you know what? One of my
anymore.
favorite
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
I remember seeing back in the day was when Joey would be on his platform and that shit would come up and point at you and start
Woo!
spinning.
I mean,
Oh,
Tommy Lee did it first, but
to
But
be
still,
fair.
the level of
I hate
concentration
Motley Crue.
that takes
Yeah,
is
no.
amazing. And playing his amazing parts that most people can't play while sitting on a normal drum set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Like,
it's funny because they have the couple additional percussionists that just kind of knock on things, but he is the brains.
Oh,
or
yeah,
was
he
for
was.
a long
He
time.
was, for
Yeah.
sure.
Him and he did
and
work
fucking
for what,
ode
the
to the
Murder
new
Dolls
drummer.
as
That
well.
guy kicks ass.
Yeah, he
Murder
did, he did
Dolls,
Murder
yeah.
Dolls with Wednesday 13.
Yeah.
One of my favorite singers in the entire world is Corey Taylor, and that man
Forever and
puts
always.
so much into his vocals for everything.
sitting right
then,
here.
And
Hey,
then
bro.
with Stone
Hey, bro.
Sour, he actually
I stand
showed
by
that-
my decision.
Indeed, you should. And with Stone Sour, he actually, while not being a spectacular band or anything, he showed that
Where's
he
that
had more
knife at?
range.
Feel
as
it.
a
Exactly.
singer,
He really showed his versatility.
and that ended up creeping into the Slipknot sound. Which
Really,
is what's kind of
what
funny
sold
about it.
what sold me on Corey Taylor actually is the fact that not only can he do Slipknot and then he can kind of even break it down
Mellow
the way
out.
with Stone Sour. It's the fact that he can even go and do a complete acoustic tour.
Oh, yeah.
There's
that's
not
true.
two metal vocalists.
Well,
that
it's
He's
can
not
about
that
country
can
country
do
scary
it.
though.
The guy also does country too, but as
yeah.
you know,
And I
he's very
got one last
versatile.
thing to say about Slipknot before we pass it on to another friend.
Well, I got
Rest in
something
peace,
else.
Paul Gray.
Yeah, yeah. There you
Rest
go.
in peace.
That's
Bassist.
true.
Yeah, that passed
Badass
away.
from a bassist.
Yeah.
Gotta love that man. He was a badass left-hander, fucking all day. I couldn't imagine.
And the
He was
world will
good.
never know another crazy motherfucker like you.
him. Exactly.
It was the spooky element that turned me onto them, and honestly, a few of the music videos, the fact that most of them are visceral and crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Snuff is one that I put in rotation on heavy metal television when I was still working there. Also, the Wait and Bleed, because they did two different
yeah.
versions of that video. They did a live one, and then they did another one, which had them all as little puppets, like
Yeah.
killing. It was
And that's the
crazy
song that got
awesome.
me. I think that's the song that got a lot of people.
Well, that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
first Slipknot
It was,
song.
yeah.
I
Their
ever-
first
fucking
single.
crazy house
And
party
they're
video.
still
that was
working
the
with
best.
Ross Robinson and stuff, and they
Oh,
also
yeah.
did a Shining inspired music video that was dope. Where if I remember, Corey
was a
Taylor
good
was
one.
on like the tricycle,
No,
like,
yeah.
going around, and then Left Behind was where I started actually liking Slipknot. I didn't like them till Iowa when they went just insane, like death
That's
metal
where
at
it
times.
went, man. That was the good stuff.
We all got left behind. I'm telling y'all, slipping away. Good shit.
It's fucking
Great
good
shit.
fucking music,
Great
man.
shit.
So that's Slipknot.
That is
Yeah,
Slipknot.
there you
And
go.
they will
That's
forever
which
be.
is number
Which is
one?
number one. Chris, what
Always.
you got? Omega Red.
All right, so check it out. There's this band. They're not very well known at all. Zelen Ardor. These guys took, how do you put it without? They took slave spirituals, I guess, and they actually did a little bit of metal influence behind it. And the best part about this band, I stand non-denominational,
Huh.
but they take the darkest lyrics they're satanic. They're like a slave spiritual version of Ghost.
Essentially satanic.
They are, yeah.
Ghosts are satanic.
One of their lines is, "And the riverbed will run red with the blood of the saints and the blood of the holy." Like they're on that level.
But listen to a lot of black metal that sings about
that's a very
shit,
similar thing to like All Hail the Yeti.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
listen to a band like Behemoth or
that's true.
But you don't have that behind the sound of chains bouncing, and it's just like. It's really slave spiritual style. It's amazing.
So it's atmospheric.
Yeah, the lyrics. I mean, on point. The guy screams, but not very often.
The music video is also pretty gruesome. And
check out "Come On Down." It's pretty wicked.
Yeah.
It's just a slave standing there in chains, and there's a lot of visuals that happen, and then it's.
You had me at In Chains.
Check it out. It's really good. Yeah, Zell and Ardor, I think right now, and I think. I'm actually fairly positive they're from Sweden, so that's your
that's your area.
So I want to check it out now. It's funny because even somebody in that region, like Nurgle from Behemoth, he went and did like a country album recently. So it's like these guys do enjoy American bluesy melody.
You know what? I
Yeah.
really enjoy Swedish names. Like
Jesper,
Nurgle. Like they're so epic in themselves.
I've wanted to name my son, if I ever have one, Jesper, because he's my favorite Swedish guitar player.
He's available.
Jesper Stromblad, formerly of In Flames. In Flames sucks
give him
now.
that son, like right now. Anyway, so that's Zell and Ardor. So
whatever.
Check him out. I dig him.
Good shit. Well, the audience got to check them out, and now, what is your number one?
Mahalo!
My number one pick is the inexplicable, the always amazing Mudvayne.
Wow.
I love Mudvayne.
Been on hiatus for a long time.
For a long time. And you know what, though? You go back and you listen to Mudvayne, the evolution of Mudvayne was amazing. They went from someone who was just ultimately in your face, costume, makeup out, Mudvayne digging, and then they gave you something beautiful.
They scaled it
something
back.
Beautiful.
LD50, man. LD50 is where they really went to that, when they did like Death Blooms, that Death Bloom song.
Dude, what I really liked about them when I first listened to it was how
Dig. I mean, Dig.
How good their bass player was. It elevated them.
Oh yeah, one of my faves.
Thing going
Dude, beast.
Put that thing away. You're gonna scare the children.
Yeah.
It would scare players.
No, but the vocalist is my favorite member of the entire band. There's just something about him. There are people who start to sing, and the voice is so unique that it's like they're only destined for one style of music, and that's where he is right now. He's playing with Hell Yeah, and whether you like him or don't like him, they have some amazing songs. Like Alcohol and Ass is awesome.
Hell no for me, but
hell no.
The other thing about Mudvayne, especially that lead singer, is that they're not just a shock rock band.
They're something Gray as well. His last name. Yeah.
I mean, he's a firm believer in everything that he's written, everything that they play. I've watched this guy live sit there and like he's got I don't remember what the song was, but he's sitting there and he's just decking himself in the head, and he just starts bleeding
with the microphone
with his hand while he's screaming, and it's like you could see the pain in his face, not from the head hits, because after a couple of those you go numb anyway. No. But what he's singing, like he feels everything, and it's just I love shock rock bands, and you just really see that like. You know what I mean? And what it is, it just makes it more
the emotion, man.
More raw, wouldn't you say? Like,
yeah, they're very raw. There was nothing ever really especially refined about Mudvayne. Mudvayne is never refined. They were always
like at the end they were a little more polished.
Maybe, but there was
the songs were a little more
songs like Happy, but
their style went a little more commercial.
That was more towards the audience of the radio. But when you got those albums, and sit back and listen to the entire parts of that album, those albums still had that rawness that they had in the beginning. Yeah, maybe not along the lines of Dig, but they still kept that deep sense of anger.
Well, they even had an album,
and not just that, but around the time, even with Slipknot, with Stone Sour and stuff like that, we were just talking about a lot of the bands from like the late '90s, early 2000s. Once the metalcore scene broke out, they kind of started trying to be more radio because they were bound to be overshadowed by that new genre.
Well, I mean,
metalcore came in and wrecked it. All their mains, Killswitch Engage, they wrecked it.
Yeah, and it changed things a lot because of the fact that we were just getting over nu metal at the time, and nu metal was actually very commercially considerable.
And nu metal had started to blend in with dubstep a lot too.
That's a Korn reference. That's a Korn reference. Yeah,
I'm just saying they were the epitome of that situation.
They were, yeah. They
had bands like Korn, bands like Skrillex, Hollywood Undead. Those were what's really coming in. And metalcore stepped out.
That's a guilty pleasure. That's a guilty pleasure. I'm sorry. I also fucking love Paramore.
I don't mind the visual aspect of it. I actually like that, but the music is too hip hoppy. For me. So.
It's a very mixed.
I like chorus, verse.
Fuego only likes
different than each other.
Fuego only likes one rapper.
Tupac.
know. He said it.
I'm kidding.
I've been said that I am, this generation's songbird.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but his ego's on fire right
It is right now.
I thought I was the guy on fire.
His hair is
That's
the
ego.
This dude is on fire.
All right, so Fuego.
Well, I do believe we only have one suggestion left,
Yeah.
and that is our great rhythmic master, Fuego.
Thank you, kind sir. So, I'm really considering pulling an audible here because
Ah,
I was originally
of
going to
course.
talk about King Diamond,
Uh-huh.
but how the hell could I not talk about Black Sabbath?
Oh,
This is
Really,
true.
they didn't have as much of a spooky visual aspect, but the set designs and obviously what they were singing about,
They're-
for God's
yeah.
sake. I mean, greatest metal band ever for me. The band that really solidified the
Epitomized.
transition from blues into like the dirgier, down-tuney craziness that really set the genre afire.
Now,
in the 60s.
Godfathers of metal, right?
Are we talking?
Yeah,
are we
for
talking
sure.
specifically Ozzy Black
No
Sabbath?
era specifically. No, we're
Black
talking about the
Sabbath,
legacy
Tony
in
Iommi
entirety.
himself.
Yeah, Tonia, because
Yeah.
the band is Tony Iommi.
Exactly.
What was it?
Day.
What-
The fact that they could have success with both Ozzy and Dio so significantly shows that it was Iommi.
And no fingertips.
Yeah.
Mahalo made a joke.
But Geezer is the man, dude, and
yeah.
the
Oh,
man,
yeah, he
dude.
is.
Yeah, he's an
Yeah.
amazing bass player. I actually, when Mooch started doing more intricate bass work, when we lost our bass player here in this band, I was like, I always appreciate guys that approach it not doubling what the guitar player is doing.
Yeah,
They'll
playing
play
their
something
own, yeah.
complementary,
Mhm.
but different. And we have that in some of our songs thanks to this guy, so shout out to
I always
you,
feel so
sir.
special when he gives me that reference.
No, Mahalo used to
Yeah,
make the
bass
joke.
player.
Mahalo
I
used
will
to make
not
the joke
give
when
him
I first
anything.
met him that Tony Iommi could sue every guitar player after him because
many have
there's
ripped
not a
off.
He
there's
wrote
not a-
every
there's not a
riff.
note he didn't play.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath's written every fucking
Yeah.
different variation of every note progression,
It's
so
true.
we should just be happy he's not
slow,
suing us.
whatever. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good audible. All right.
Yeah, that's a good audible. I mean, albums
pulled- you
like
pulled a good
Master
Brady.
of Reality, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Everything Was Paranoid, the debut album, which has NIB, Nativity in Black, which is about the devil
glorious
falling
songs.
in love with a human chick.
Yeah.
It's so rad.
You know what's funny is, as a kid, Sweet Leaf was always one of my favorite songs.
I love the Sweet
And I had no idea until I, got into high school. And I loved the Sweet Leaf.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, and they
It's
got all
true.
crazy on Volume 4, which is my favorite Black Sabbath album, where they did songs like Snowblind because they were
Oh,
all on
man.
cocaine and being
Hell yeah.
crazy guys. They'd moved to LA at that time.
Those guys
so,
epitomized the genre of rock stars. There will never
Yeah.
be a rock star era like that.
I heard
and
the
they
rock stars
epitomized
back
it.
then. Like,
Ozzy is so
And also
shock
the
rock he
cocaine
only
market.
speaks in tongues now.
He's been Mr. Mumbles for a long time. I like solo Ozzy a lot. You know,
love
the different incarnations,
Can't deny.
obviously.
Right.
But
Can't
for me, I always was more of a Black Sabbath person because of Iommi,
Yeah.
like you said. And the Dio stuff is great.
Mhm.
I'm more of a Mob Rules guy, which was in the heavy metal movie and awesomely done, So I don't know. I can even dig on some of the Tony Martin shit, guys. But the origins of Black Sabbath when they changed from the band Earth and changed their name to Black Sabbath was
it changed
they were
everything.
staying at this place where they were positive they saw a spirit before them. And that was where Geezer sat down and wrote the lyrics, "What is this that stands before me?" Figure in black that points at me and all this shit. It's such a spooky song. It begins with rain and you hear like a church bell and all this crazy shit. The very first Black Sabbath song ever probably epitomizes them better than anything because it's slow and sludgy and then there's a faster back half and so...
hey man, maybe we should
Yeah,
take some notes to that.
the very, very first Black Sabbath
not-
song. Black Sabbath, by Black Sabbath, on Black Sabbath. I've always said that any band that has their own debut album with their own theme
Right.
song, their own name song, Iron Maiden,
Yeah.
the list goes on for many.
Back
So,
to back on
yeah.
So
But,
what you're
not
saying
just
is
that,
we need to
though,
make
but
Chiron
We need
But-
to make a
but
song
Black
called
Sabbath-
Chiron.
Black Sabbath is one of those household names. I was just having a discussion the other day about household names, and there's just
As it
like
should be.
Everybody knows.
like everybody
Black
knows James Hetfield, everybody knows Metallica. Everybody knows the main person, but the thing about though is that Black Sabbath, that's not just Tony. It's not just Tony Iommi. It's not just Dio. It's just Black. That unit. Everybody knows that unit. That's a household.
Can
name.
we just talk about how
Yeah.
crazy fucking we got Ozzy out of this? This guy who snorted a line of ants, and this guy pissed on the Alamo
Allegedly.
and didn't get shot.
Well, at
Did
least
not
he
get
didn't
shot?
inject Jack Daniels like fucking Motley Crue. I mean, those
Yeah.
guys were nuts. They had nothing else.
Butt
They had nothing else to shoot, so they were.
butt chugging heroin. Yeah.
Well, because they had a notorious tour with Ozzy in the mid '80s.
Yeah,
and
let's
it
let's
was
not do
Now-
that, guys.
debaucherous. No, we are not looking for that. We got to keep it within reason, guys.
Exactly.
We see enough spooky shit.
I mean, if you want to send us DMT though. Come on.
I'm down.
You know?
I'm down.
I mean, edit that out.
No comment. No comment.
We know you're all thinking the same thing, though.
Yeah.
What about that one band that takes it way too far, further than anyone else has gone?
Oh, absolutely to the limit.
Burn churches in Norway.
The bands that talk about Saddam and his go-go.
Exactly.
We'll give one more mention out.
I can change.
To the
It's my South Park.
fucking unanimous Gawar.
Yeah. Oh, so
honorable mention?
Oh,
Yes.
I stuck that in there.
Snuck it in there. It's okay. If you weren't gonna do it, I was gonna do it.
Well, that's a timely band to talk about because of the fact that they lost their singer recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arungus.
Yeah.
But the thing about those is that now they've got a female lead singer.
Well, they had her for a little while. I don't know if
Right.
they replaced her or that one of the other guys, I think it was one of the guitar players, was handling a lot of the vocals.
As long as she's still wearing the giant Arungus dick on stage and squirting people in the face, that makes Gawar fucking special.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you guys came home just doused in purple.
I would say I know quite a few people that got
They're
crossed by that.
an
Just
amazing live
front row.
experience. Yeah.
in face.
There's no other show I've ever been to that was more fucking visually striking than a Gawar show.
Well, and they've done heavy metal horror movie music video pretty much. I mean,
Yeah,
it's all
this is
these
true.
march is badass. That's what
Yes.
Yes.
March. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
What-
Gorgor or Cygor or some
Gorgor,
crazy shit.
the Tyrannosaur.
Yes, that was another good one. Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking Gorgor.
Yeah,
My favorite will always be Meat Sandwich.
Meat sandwich.
Hell yeah. Always my favorite.
They had an amusing horror humor about
Yeah, they
them,
did.
and there's a
Yeah.
sci-fi tinge as well with them being intergalactic and all that.
Well, those
stuff.
guys were all like Hollywood visual effects people too,
Mhm.
so they knew the tricks of the trade, and they
Makes
used it in
sense,
every
yeah.
single aspect of their fucking music. They
Let's go
mixed
back to
their
college,
arts,
bro.
and it worked very well.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, we should all go back to music and visual score.
Cool, right?
Right.
Fuck yeah.
Mhm.
Let's go work at the conservatory.
Yup to that.
Just be
Well, I mean,
just fucking interns.
even guitar player from Tool,
Oh, dude.
Adam
dude.
worked on tons of different movies before that. He worked on Jurassic Park. He worked on Terminator 2, and they implemented a spooky visual style to their stuff too. So Tool,
Oh, yeah.
that's another.
All this
Another
filler
honorable mention.
is to make up for the last episode.
Yeah,
So
we're
just
sorry.
enjoy.
Yes, where we
Enjoy,
were cut off,
please.
and
Sorry.
We're giving you a solid extra 15.
yeah.
I hope so.
Well, we just can't be too long on the camera, or else we will be snipped
Cut
out.
again. Aw.
So
Yeah, you
maybe
already
we
stuck
should
in an honorable
recap
mention.
all of our picks.
I say we go in reverse.
Do we? Okay. So my picks, my honorable mention, King Diamond. As I said, I wish I had time to talk about him extensively, but for my other two, we had Typo Negative, Mr. Peter Steele, and number one, Black Sabbath. There you go.
For me, we had Mudvayne, we had Gawar, and we had Alice Cooper.
Ah,
That's right.
the
And-
Coopster.
And Cooperstown is
They're
closing down. So
closing.
our
it
last
sucks.
month when we made a
Yeah.
reference, we told you about Cooperstown, and unfortunately this month
We
they're
almost
closing
played a
down.
show there too.
Yeah, the Solid Rock Foundation. Thank you for putting that up last
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Go
Solid
go
Rock
get you
Foundation.
some while you can.
While you
go
can.
get you some.
Yeah.
All right,
Get
so
you-
catch yourself a Diamondbacks game. Oh, there's no more Diamondbacks games.
Yeah,
Oh.
they lost. They
You're
sucked
just
in the
laying
end.
on everything, Chris.
Go to the TGI Fridays in the ballpark and then
Yeah.
go to Cooperstown for a beer.
Lower
Anyway.
expectations.
Yeah.
Another reference.
Sorry.
I love it.
All right.
So
Anyway,
your three. so-
Mine. I get an honorable mention too. Okay.
All right.
I'm not gonna talk about it,
Yeah.
but Kiss was was my number two.
Number
Zelen
two.
Ardor by far my number one. Please check them out.
Oh,
And then
the one
I know
I'm
a couple
unfamiliar
episodes
with.
ago I referenced Motorgrader. They're another really good shock rock band. It's when Ivan Moody was still really good outside of Five Finger. Go check out Motorgrader again. You're gonna dig them way more. I know how he feels about Five Finger, but go check out. I'll give you 5 fingers to the face. All right, so that's my three.
Yeah.
And my I guess I get an honorable too.
Yeah,
gotta
come on,
throw it out.
I didn't get to
But
talk King Diamond.
my number two was Marilyn Manson. I hope he's recovering well.
Yeah. And
My
he's
number
in
one
January.
was Slipknot. All day, every day, number one Slipknot. And I'd say my honorable mention's got to be Tool, just because I will
Yeah.
always honorably mention Tool.
Yeah,
because
content. I mean, that's
More
not,
than
I mean, they do
honorable.
visuals,
Every-
but mostly content. yeah.
Exactly.
Both. and
I remember the show I went and saw at the U.S. Airways. They had
Mhm.
fucking laser lights and shit going.
It's spooky. It's like it
Oh,
makes you
it's the
feel like
best.
you're on drugs, even if
And
you're
you know
not
what?
on drugs.
And you
it's
know
kind
what,
of a Pink
Maynard-
Floyd type thing. So-
Maynard might not move throughout the whole fucking
like
show,
DMT?
but it's
Yeah.
still kind of spooky. Still kind of spooky.
So
Yeah,
violent.
Mabel hiding in
Just
the-
ship me
hiding
the
in the
frog.
shadows
I'll
Hiding in
lick
the
that
back
frog.
like this the whole fucking time.
What?
It's badass, dude. I still
Anyway.
love it. Love you,
They're
Maynard.
amazing. Yeah.
Same
Send
guy
me
that
some
smells
wine.
everything.
Oh,
fucking
really?
thing.
Or I'll go
Mix
buy
up.
some wine.
Yeah.
One or two.
But one other thing that I want to definitely mention is a grande gracias to all the fans who have been coming and liking the Facebook and doing
Always
that support thing, because we see numbers swelling and we're humbly honored, and it's been encouraging and cool. So Chiron Band AZ on Facebook, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's going to be very, very hard to find a more appreciative band. I mean, we can't thank you guys enough. We try to do that at least once a week, say thank you and just give you guys little things for the week. I mean, we greatly appreciate it. I mean, every aspect of it. Even the people who are just our friends that aren't really into the thing, just to support us.
Yeah. That's hit the like button, man. That does a lot. You'd be surprised.
We appreciate every single one of those clicks. I mean, the more you guys like and share, this is very important. The larger our package becomes. In order to play certain venues
everybody wants a bigger package.
In order to play certain venues out here, we need a package, a certain number of likes, something else like that, and you guys are helping us. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. To the yizzle.
Big time. Thank you. Yeah. So Chiron Band AZ at Facebook.
Yeah.
And then
check us out on YouTube. Check us out on the Horror Show.
Obviously.
Yes, indeed.
First Monday of every month, you will see us here.
We'll be here.
Right.
And keep your eyes out, because we have some new material coming for you guys as well.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So, and we have we have the lyric video on the Horror Show as of the time that you've seen this. So yeah, check that out.
Go see it.
First single that we're working on a music video for.
Tell them they need more bass.
All right. So without further ado,
I'm Matthew Higgins.
I'm Chris Payne.
I'm Mahalo.
Gracias, Jaime and Fuego, and remember, until next time, peeps.
Stay scared.
Laters.
You gotta throw up every time I say Ivan Moody?